Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Jason Mackey's First 10, a quick hit podcast to get you ready for today. On today's episode, we're going to talk a lot about the Pittsburgh Pirates. That was one heck of a win they earned last night over the Milwaukee Brewers, and I don't necessarily say that in complimentary fashion. It was just interesting. There was a lot to get into before the game, during the game, even after the game, and a lot of ins and outs going on with this team right now. I don't quite know what to make of them. Some good, some bad. We'll dive into all of it. First, want to remind you, you don't have to be a baseball fan, though, to love it at the North Shore Tavern. The interior is wall-to-wall Pirates. There are also appetizers, entrees, cocktails, and, of course, steak and seafood on a sizzling lava stone, open every day. The North Shore Tavern across from PNC Park is Pittsburgh's home for steak on a stone. So, all right, if you watched the Pirates and the Brewers last night from American Family Field, you probably saw, well, first and foremost, our Andrew Destin, which is where I'm going to start. It's kind of a fun entry point. Andrew has never been to Milwaukee before, at least not in a baseball covering capacity, and became the target of several foul balls and made his way onto the Sportsnet Pittsburgh broadcast, which was absolutely fantastic. But many, many more things went on and were relevant to this game, aside from Andrew. For a while, it looked like a really fantastic effort from the Pirates. Mitch Keller, once again, was outstanding. I've been impressed with him past couple of starts. Obviously, the last one with the complete game, tremendous, was really, really good again today. 6 shutout innings. That's somebody they need to pitch like an ace, clearly. And again, you can't really say enough about the starting rotation. At this point, you're talking Jared Jones, Paul Skenes, Martin Perez has been very good. Keller, they have had some problems this season and some things that need fixed. The starting rotation, odd as that sounds, and as much of a storyline as it was all offseason and even throughout the spring, has not been a big issue. Well, the biggest offensive driver in this one, or the biggest reason, I might argue, that the Pirates were able to emerge victorious, Brian Reynolds, 5 hits. I believe the first since Brian Hayes did it, if I'm going off of memory, the first 5-hit game of his career. Dare I say Brian Reynolds is starting to find it, or has found it. He talked in the postgame show about feeling much more confident at the plate. Let's remember the beginning of last year when Brian Reynolds is going and what that can mean for this team, how hot he can get. And this is I think I talked about this the other day on this podcast. This is what the Pirates need. They need things to turn one by one. Oneil Cruz has been one domino. It looks like Brian Reynolds is a second domino. Now, I understand the frustration with some guys that I'm going to get into. Rowdy Tellez being the chief offender, the one that is seemingly attracting all of the ire. But in order for the Pirates to get this thing moving in the right direction, they need one by one to start to get out of these funks. And Oneil Cruz has done a fantastic job. Brian Reynolds has gotten out of it. Honestly, Andrew McCutchen had a very good game tonight, I thought. Jack Sawinski hit the 2-run homer early to give them a lead. Those are 2 guys, too. There's so much room for improvement there. They can't help but get better, which takes me to Oneil Cruz. At the beginning of the season, we were talking a lot about him being lost. You send him down. What is wrong with Oneil Cruz? He's always going to be like this. People are calling him Gregory Polanco. Let's take a step back now. And I understand why somebody might get upset again this season with the offense. I'm not saying everything's perfect, but hat tip to Oneil Cruz. He's been pretty darn good of late. Hits in 16 of 19, 354 during that span, an OPS of 1.031, 6 doubles, 4 homers, 12 ribs. 9 runs scored and a 21.4% strikeout rate. Still a little high, but for him, I'll absolutely take it. In Monday's game, smoked the ball 118.5, a single 116.3. The ridiculous throw to nail Willie Adamas at third base. What more can you ask, really? He has brought his performance up several levels in a very quick amount of time. Just really, really like that. And oddly enough, I'm starting to get attracted to him in the number 3 spot. I liked Cruz number 1 at the beginning of the season because he likes hitting there. I think some guys, there's just it's tough to explain and it defies analytics. They're just comfortable, which is another source of frustration, I think, growing with the Pirates and Derek Shelton and how they do things. He doesn't let guys get comfortable. Well, Bryan Reynolds bats second every game. Oneil Cruz has found himself while batting third recently. Maybe there's something to that. Maybe just leave guys in there. I think there are a lot of directions the Pirates can go from this. But one thing I hope that they're learning, I hope that Derek Shelton's learning, maybe he's changing, I don't know. But the understanding that it's not all numbers, it's feel. I would just like to see them continue to play guys in certain spots and let them get comfortable with the way that Cruz and Reynolds have. That being said, I'm not sure one of them is Rowdy Tellez. How about his at bat? Going back in my scorebook here, ninth inning. Yeah, 2 guys on. He's 0 for 4 to that point. Greg Brown says something on the telecast is I think this might be a defining at bat for Rowdy Tellez, and Brownie might be right, and he strikes out. I was very optimistic heading into this season about Rowdy Tellez. Was even more optimistic in spring training, and I'm probably wrong. Wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last time. I think a lot of other people thought, what they're trying to do with the platoon situation, Connor Joe, Rowdy Tellez, could potentially work given how Rowdy has hit righties, how Joe has hit lefties. I hate to say it, I don't know how much longer you can go with this. Like, it strikes me as, this is like the last hurrah. They want to try to see a spark here. And I think that's why Shelton kept Tellez in that situation. Like, the better baseball move is to pinch hit Connor Joe. Clearly, Connor Joe's been a better player. The better baseball move was to probably play Connor Joe. But the human move is to probably play Rowdy Tellez, try to get him going, and honestly try to get some final information to make an informed business decision. I don't know. I don't know for sure that they're going to run them through this road trip, and then if it stinks, they're just going to cut bait. But I'm not saying they're not either. I'm kind of curious where this goes. I mean, I've liked being around Rowdy. I've liked getting to know Rowdy. But right now, it's not getting it done. And it's first base. It's a premium power position. They need offense. They need to snap out of this fun. I could keep going. You need to figure it out. You need to probably go in another direction if there's not a spark there. Some other things I wanted to pick apart from this one really quickly, because I also wanted to talk about the Roansy Contreras column. Still stuff I'd really like to see them clean up. I did, that 8th inning where it went sideways on them, just not their best at all. The grand slam was the big blow, but Nick Gonzalez has to get in front of that ball. I'm not sure totally what happened with Josh Fleming, why you're not turning it over to Colin Holderman. He's been so darn good. The bullpen has just been really, really ugly of late. I want to say 24 runs, 21 earned over their last 6, something like that. It was nearly a 3-error inning, which would have been the first 3-error inning in Major League Baseball this season. They averted any further disaster, and a nice job by Hunter Stratton there. But just, this is an imperfect baseball team. This is an imperfect team, but one with enough talent, and you see what starting pitching gets you, a little bit of hitting. I think it's there. And that's sort of the shame here, and maybe how I'll wrap up this segment, is just it would be a shame to waste this. It would be a shame to waste some exciting things, some stuff from Reynolds, from Oneil Cruz. Even Connor Joe is having an outstanding season. I'd like to see him in there basically every day he's healthy enough to play. And there are others. I think there are guys who are going to turn it around, but you don't want to waste it with, riding things out much longer than you have to. And I think we're getting about that point. So I'll use that to transition to Roansy Contreras. I wrote about him Monday morning and what I think that decision sort of says. In a nutshell, I hate it. I hate cutting bait at this point with Contreras, especially because he's a young arm. I still think there's talent in there. I think the term I might use to describe what I think they did with him is just a little too handsy. It was coming from a good place. They want him to fix his mechanics, his delivery. They think it's more sustainable. They think it's going to produce better results, keep him healthy, etc. I don't think it helped him. I don't think he was able to grasp reworking how he delivered the ball and came down the mound and all that stuff. And the result was him just lacking confidence, getting hit hard, losing velocity, losing life on his fastball, all of this stuff. And he was just never the same guy. And it got worse and worse and worse. And so many times you see another team claim these guys, and the Pirates have had it happen to them a lot, where they are able to figure them out, get through to them, and get a level of performance the Pirates didn't see. Well, if that happens, That's not going to be good at all. I say that because that tilts a trade way away from the Pirates. There have been other ones, that we've been through, the Josh Bell trade, Clay Holmes trade, Starling Marte, that have not been victories for the Pirates. And I really don't think they want to wear Roansy Contreras getting claimed by the Braves, or the Rays, and going to pitch in Tampa and figuring out the best version of himself not there. It's a developmental failure on the part of the Pirates. The last regime could not complete players' development going from AAA to the major leagues. Because this group, there's not a lot of evidence there. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope it's a smaller sample size and that things change in a hurry. It can. But right now, what we're looking at this very moment, you'd like to see better. I think that's a fair criticism of that situation. So I wrote about all that. Check that out at post-gazette.com. I also wanted to get into a little bit more NFL talk and Jared Goff's contract, but guess we're not going to have time for that. I'll just leave you with, I really like the Steelers quarterback situation compared to that. I know it's kind of out of left field, but was just reading about that earlier this evening, and that contract is insane to me. $212 million over 4 years, 170 guaranteed. I don't know. I'll take the Steelers situation. Just get a wide receiver 2 in there. Anyway, way over time for today. Thank you for watching, staying with me. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can get all of this content and stuff from other Post-Gazette writers and reporters. Talk to you back here, same time, same place tomorrow.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.